Okay. All right, let's call the meeting to order, and if we could all stand for the flag salute, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Let it be known that all the commissioners are here except for Tim Laddish. Are there going to be any agenda changes?
No.
Is there any public comment today? Nope. Okay, so we'll go to the consent agenda for approval of minutes from November 8th Planning Commission meeting and adoption of the final resolution, okay, approving 2018062 and 060. Does anybody have any comments on the minutes? No. Okay. How about on the adoption of the final resolution? Is everybody good and we can just adopt the consent agenda as written?
I am.
Okay. Does anybody have any public comment on this item? No? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Well, do you need, I think you need a motion.
Oh, I do
in
need a
second.
motion. I'm sorry. Can somebody make a motion to approve of the consent agenda?
I so moved.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Thank you, Peter. All right. So next on the agenda is the public hearing for 2014028, an extension of time approved for the conditional use permit for the Burson Market. And who is doing the presentation?
I'll do this for Scott.
Okay.
He's out today. So this is an extension of time request. As you recall, the Burson Market was approved in 2014 application. I think it was finally approved in 2016. They then came back with a modification to that. It was approved last November. The way we have our ordinances set up, that approval expires at the end of December of the following year. Because this was approved toward the end of the year, they only had 1 year, a little over 1 year to get all the permits. There was some delay because of changing in engineers. The staff report lays out the reasons for the extension request, the findings that are necessary. I don't think I need to go through those. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. The current engineer representing the applicant is here as well. If you have any questions of him, we do recommend that you grant this extension.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any comments, or would you like to hear from the applicant?
I'd like to hear from the applicant.
Okay. Do you have anything to say today?
I don't, other than introducing myself to the commission. And
Okay.
I'm Mike Robertson with Robertson Engineering. We're out of Santa Rosa. We have a small engineering firm of 4 engineers, and we do design of convenience stores and fueling systems. And we've been doing that for a lot of years. Happy to be doing this project. I worked with Hani Alberti and his father that owns the property back in 2014 in developing the original use permit before they modified the site plan. So it's a good change. We're looking forward to finishing it. I have received all of the documents that had been submitted to Caltrans, had been submitted to Public Works, and we're in the process of making those corrections, changes, and addressing the comments from the prior applicant's engineer who got ill and hospitalized for a significant period of time, and Hani retained us and his dad retained us to complete the project. So
Okay.
I'll write my name here, Michael Robertson, and
Any
happy to
questions?
answer any questions that you may have of me.
Yeah. When do you expect this process to be completed shortly?
Shortly will probably be, and completed is a relative term, but completing the design probably in the next 2 months, resubmitting the various applications to the agencies, and environmental health, I might add, has already seen the applicant on the waste disposal stuff once as well. So we're recycling back those comments, plan check comments after that. So we would expect that probably around springtime we would get approval, maybe the 1st of April, something of that nature. So
project includes gas tanks above ground.
Yes, sir.
Is that still
What-
viable?
It is. I think they may rather, the project that's been approved is above-ground tanks. And they, actually, as part of the evaluation of the site, there is consideration to do buried tanks instead. However, the costs of testing those and observing those and making sure they're not leaking underground is fairly sizable in hiring certified testers, and it's much less expensive to have the above-ground tanks. So that decision they are still making. But if we did bury those tanks, or we would need to come by for a modification of the approved use permit to bury the tanks.
Thank you.
Happy to hear any comment that you may have about that.
I don't have any comment. It's just curious that the timing after these fires and sticking up, not just propane, but gasoline tank above ground
Sure.
has got to be a fire hazard in the highest order.
Right.
I'm sure you're doing something about it, but I'm not sure what. You don't have trees and
That's what I was going to
brush
say.
around it.
There's not a whole bunch of fuel to generate that. It's, there's the fueling, and of course, that doesn't prevent 80-mile-an-hour winds from blowing embers, but the likelihood is probably pretty slim in that location.
Thank you. Okay, so is there any further comments on the resolution or any questions of Peter?
The two questions I had were answered.
Okay,
One, the engineer has been retained, which was not in the file, and the timeline has been answered. There was one typo in the resolution, which may have gotten itself corrected, because I gave it to Scott Spear. That's the word, well, I'll tell you what it is. Page 2, under extension of time findings, paragraph 1, the evidence, last sentence, other than the building permit, no other permits set forth in the CUP approval qualifies, etc. Permits should be permit. Hopefully he made that change. Other than that, it looks fine to me.
okay, Commissioner Sisk? Good? Okay. Commissioner Bertelli, you're good?
no.
Okay.
Fine.
No, I'm fine, is what you
I'm
said?
fine.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
So noted.
so noted, thank you. Okay, is there anybody in the public that would like to comment on this? Seeing none, I will close public comment, bring it back to the commission. Do you want me to have Peter read the recommendation? Okay, we're ready.
Staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution 2018-064, approving a 2-year extension of time for the approved conditional use permit 2014-028, based upon the findings and conditions included therein. And that would be with the correction. I noticed that it had not been corrected by Scott, so the correction that Commissioner Wooster noted in the evidence statement on page 2.
Okay, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day. Okay, so next on the agenda is 2018-066 for a zoning amendment.
It's me again.
Okay,
This is a minor amendment to the accessory dwelling unit ordinance that was adopted by the board back in July. After it was adopted, we began to get some feedback from the well drilling industry, and we realized that the standards that we had for the accessory dwelling units were in excess of what we require for the primary residence. Brad Banner is here, the Environmental Management Agency Director. He worked with the well industry and with me to come up with some language that we believe better reflects the needs. The purpose of the accessory dwelling unit is to provide more opportunity for affordable housing, reduce costs, reduce the process necessary. The well testing requirements that were in the ordinance that was adopted earlier this year really don't serve the purpose that we thought they were. It's more expensive than it's necessary. It takes time. It doesn't really prove over the long run whether or not they'll have sufficient flow. And we feel that this revised language is, better serves the needs of the residents, potential builders of accessory dwellings, and meets the intent of state law. So we would recommend that you forward a recommendation to the board to adopt this this amendment. This would be categorically exempt from CEQA. The adoption of an ordinance that is implementing state law with regard to accessory dwellings is exempt under a couple of different sections of the Public Resource Code.
I like it. Any questions?
No.
No. You have anything you would like to say? Nothing? Okay. Does anybody have any questions of Mr. Banner? Nope. Okay. I can ask for public comment, but seeing none, we'll go ahead and close public comment, bring it back to the commissioners, and I think we're ready to roll.
Okay, so again, staff recommends that you adopt resolution 2018-063, recommending that the Board of Supervisors find that the proposed ordinance amendment is exempt from CEQA, and that they approve the zoning ordinance amendment 2018-066 related to accessory dwelling unit well requirements.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. And we'll go back to my agenda. Let's see what else is on here. Thank you, Mr. Banner.
Okay, Brad.
Okay, there are no action items. There are no informational items. There is no study session. And are there any commissioner reports?
No.
No. Okay. Planning director?
I have been informed by the consultants that I'm to expect the admin draft of the final EIR by the end of this week. So I'm looking forward to some nice leisure reading over the holiday break, celebrating Jula Bukaflood, the Icelandic tradition of reading over Christmas break. And so I just want to say thank you to this commission. You've been a great commission for the past 2 years. Look forward to working with some of you next year. Don't know who will be back. I guess we'll find out on the first meeting of January at the board. It's been a real pleasure. I want to thank you all.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you as well. Okay. Seeing there's nothing else to discuss, you had something to say?
Yes, I would just like to echo Peter's comments. I've been on this commission for 2 years, and I've done a lot of things in my life, but this is one of the most satisfying things I've ever done. And Lisa, you're the best leader of a group I've seen just about ever. You've done really good.
Well, that was
You know,
nice.
difficult
Thank you.
situation with all sorts of competing interests, and you somehow made us stay on course. And Kelly, I don't know how you do it, but your inputs were appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was very nice. It's been great working with all of you too. I did put in an application for next year, but I suspect that the supervisor will have her own commissioner she would like to pick. So we could keep our fingers crossed. So anyways, on that note, I think, unless Karen, you have something to say, we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. All right. Have a great Christmas, everybody.
Thank you.